My next guest wrote the definitive work on serial killer Ted Bundy called The Stranger Beside Me. She is here to talk about her newest foray into the criminal mind, If You Really Love Me, a true story of desire and murder. Let's welcome author Ann Rule. Folks. Hi, Ann.
Hello.
You're so sweet. Well, how did you get into this subject? How do you pick your subjects, for instance?
I'm looking for people that seem to be successful, that are charismatic, intelligent, like yourself, who have a compulsion and they throw it all away and commit crimes.
Unlike me.
Unlike me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you actually, I know that isn't the subject of this book, but you worked next to Ted Bundy for a while before he ever...
Well, actually, I think it was an interim in his killing career. But in Seattle, at the crisis clinic, we were partners, and I spent every Sunday and every Tuesday night locked up all alone with Ted Bundy in this big old Victorian house, saving lives together. We were manning the suicide lines, and when I left about 4 o'clock in the morning, he would walk me out to my car and he'd say, "Ann, be sure you lock the door because I don't want anything bad to happen to you on the way home." Jeez. And if anyone had told me then that I had been locked up with the most dangerous man probably in America, I would have said, "You're crazy."
So he's just two men, right? I mean, or do you believe he was sitting, the good Ted, the one that you knew, was he sitting on it, or is it just two completely different?
Well, the sociopath will be whatever you want them to be. They can read us, and then they'll put on a mask for the occasion. Whatever they need to do to get whatever they want from us, they will be. So he was many men, and behind that facade, there was a monster that no one could have spotted.
Now, was it your odd, chancy meeting with him that led you to this, or had you already been interested in writing about crime before you found out you had been...
I was already a crime writer when I worked with Ted. Right. I kind of was genetically programmed. My grandpa was a sheriff in Michigan, and as a kid, I spent every summer literally in jail because it was a mom and pop jail where the living quarters and the jail and the office were all in this big old house. So I was fascinated from the time I was 8 with what makes a nice little child grow up to be a criminal. Mm-hmm. And I never got over that. Yeah.
Well, in addition to that fascination, do these people creep you out like they creep us out, or are you just... Well,
there's certain groups I won't write about. I won't write about cults, the mafia, motorcycle gangs, and drug rings.
Or the Republican Party.
Yeah, that's... I think I am so busy trying to figure out how they got the way they were.
All right.
That it's not, I don't have nightmares.
Right. It's like some sort of Rube Goldberg mechanism in their mind that leads them through this incredible...
You may have stumbled on it. That may be it.
Mousetrap!
Yeah, right.
Anybody remember that? Now, this one seems particularly heinous because this guy, David Brown, brought kids.
This is a man who used his own daughter to get rid of his wife so he could marry his 17-year-old sister-in-law and collect $1 million. It sounds like a soap opera or mousetrap. But to me, most of us would die to protect our young.
Yes.
And this man would use anybody.
Mm-hmm. Even as young. Right. We have a clip here that needs to be set up, right? This is...
Yeah, this is an interrogation by Orange County investigator Jay Newell. I interrogated David Brown the morning he was arrested after a 3.5-year investigation. This is a 3-hour interrogation. In the beginning, David knows nothing about anything. In the end, he willingly gives up Patty, his ex-sister-in-law, now wife, mother of his child, to save his own skin. And it's kind of interesting to watch that mind work.
This is the moment where he turns?
Where he turns.
All right, let's watch this clip.
Do I need to be afraid anymore?
Well, I don't know. What do you mean afraid?
Well, I mean, I'm dead serious, okay? I'm afraid for Crystal, and I'm afraid for myself.
Well, David, look at this. I don't know. So far, you haven't told me anything that
I just want to know
even
how
scaring
protected
me.
I'm going to be, okay?
Protected from whom?
From Patty.
Why do you need to be protected from Patty?
It is frightening, okay? Just like the reason I haven't kicked her out yet. That's why I've never kicked her out of the house, because I'm scared to death of that girl.
Well, he wasn't missing any meals. Wasn't too crazy to eat. Now, one of the most macabre storylines of all these cases is that some of these people have fan clubs, right? I mean, they're...
Yeah, when I covered the Bundy trial in Miami, there was a whole row of beautiful young women sitting right behind Ted. And when he turned around to look at them, it was as if Elvis Presley had favored them with a smile. And I talked to some of them outside, and I said, don't you realize that you are the very type of women that Ted killed? And they giggled, and they said, well, he wouldn't hurt us. I have an unlisted phone number because after Ted was executed, I was deluged with calls about 4 in the morning from women who were so in love with Ted Bundy and could not deal with the fact that he'd been executed.
Jeez, I don't know how you get into writing about this because I'd never leave the house.
I hardly ever do. I haven't been out in months.
As a matter of fact, we taped the show in Ann's basement.
Yeah.
Good to meet you. We'll be right back with Model Vendela right after this. Hey, it's the book, If You Really Love Me.